I don't know if you heard that or not. It's another rainy day. We got some thunder. It's beautiful. It's perfect weather to be in the studio. So I have finally come up with a way to move forward with my moon piece. So I sculpted this from polymerclay. And what I'm going to do, what I've decided to do, is so if y'all were around for my diorama, you know, it's kind of layered. So I'm going to do that with this. So the plan is to paint multiple sheets of watercolor paper and watercolor, and the moon will be up in the corner somewhere like that. And then what I'm going to do is, with all these different sheets, I'm going to tear them in a circular kind of pattern around the moon and just layer. So I'm thinking maybe around 5 layers. It may be more. I don't know. We'll just see. Go from there and just see how it goes. So right now what I'm going to do is mark out where I want the moon to be. I'm thinking maybe somewhere like that. So I'm going to take my pencil. I'm just going to very gently kind of mark where that's going to be on the paper. So that way I don't lose where that's going to go. Alright, I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to start painting. Yeah, and if y'all haven't seen my diorama, let me get that right now. Alright, so you can see there's many different layers in there. That's kind of the idea of what I'm going to be doing with this piece. So let's set that aside and get going. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Like I created this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. And I've just been stewing on it. Like, you know, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to proceed with this? And, you know, I kind of just worked it out yesterday, what I think I should do. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, I got my watercolors over here. This is my watercolor set. I can mix my colors in this little area here. And I've got this little test sheet to see what colors, you know, what it looks like on the paper. So I'm going to get going on that. But how's everyone doing today? If I seem a little breathless, it's because I did like a running sprint with my dogs. I knew it was about to rain, it was thundering, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta get my dogs out for a walk. So, yeah, it was a very quick trip. Yeah, probably. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all for hanging out. Alright, I'm just gonna test these colors on the paper and see which ones I want to use for my background here. Alright, so there's that blue. It's kind of a cobalt kind of blue. Maybe not what I'm going for. Okay, that one's actually not much different. Let's see. Oh, that's not much different either. Alright, maybe here we go into some darker ones. Okay, I think that one is more what I'm going for. But we're going to keep going just to make sure. Okay, that's not too bad. I got one more blue here to test. Okay, that is really... I like it. That's not... I don't think that's what I'm going for. We'll see. Maybe I'll incorporate it. Alright. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss anything. You can call me Misty Blue, that's fine. Player. Y'all are hilarious, thank you. Oh my gosh, Johnny Bravo. Yeah, I love Johnny Bravo. Thank y'all. Y'all are hilarious, thank you. I needed that. Alright, so I'm just gonna lighten up this a little bit before I proceed. I want just a little bit of a hint of it. I want to be able to see it, but not like so much that it's in your face. Alright, the technique I'm going to use is called a wet on wet. So you wet the paper and then you use the wet paint. Hey Ben, how are you? Alright, thank you all so much for hanging out today. Alright, I gotta remember, it was the fourth paint that I tried that I want to use. Okay. Alright, so just quickly add the water. And you want to try to avoid the area where you don't want paint. So you kind of just go around it as best you can. Alright, let's start adding some color. I'm just going to move that around. Yeah, we got to kind of move quickly with this because the water will dry, the paint will dry. Yes, I do have paintings up for purchase. I have a link in my description and my profile that you can check out. I have t-shirts, merchandise like stickers and things like that available. I have prints, and I do have some original art up. So I have a Ko-fi shop and I have a threadless shop that y'all can check out. Thank you so much for asking. That is very thoughtful and really appreciated. Yeah, I'm hoping to support my family with my art. That would be my goal. That's my dream. Alright, so around the moon, I'm going to try and keep it a little bit lighter because I want that kind of like moon glow to show through. Hope y'all can see what's going on. Yep, so that's what I've got so far. I'm just going to keep going with that. So this will be the bottom layer. The very first layer that will go down. And then I'll just layer other pieces on top. You know, it's a night sky that, you know, it could be like a little cloudy. So if there's like lighter spots, those could be the clouds maybe. Right. I think that looks pretty cool so far. Happy birthday, Dixon. Oh, ha! You got me. That's hilarious. Alright, I'll give you that one. That's gross, but yeah, you got me. I'm having a good day. How's your day going? Goober. That's like a alcoholic. Did you ever watch The Simpsons? It's like that. Is there an alcoholic here? It's like, oh my gosh. You got me. Dude, one of the funniest things. Alright, so I was like a teenager, and I lived with my phone, like, in my room. This is before cell phones. I'm that old. And, anyway, so I'd have the phone in my room all night. So if my friends wanted to call or whatever, the phone would be in there. And one night, I was asleep, and I get a call, and they said, "Is your refrigerator running?" And I was just, like, out of it, right? I was asleep pretty much. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, you better go catch it. And I'm like, okay. And then I woke up the next morning, and my phone was off the hook. And I was like, wait, that was real? That really happened? Yeah, let me think of that. Yeah. I always like the different, like in the opening of The Simpsons, the different like chalkboard things that, you know, Bart would be writing. I always thought those were funny. I always looked forward to seeing those. Alright, so I'm just going to take a little bit of water here and smooth around the moon so these lines aren't so harsh. Alright, and I think our first layer is done. I can let this dry, and you know, later if I want to add more paint, another layer, I can do that. But in the meantime, we'll just gonna let this dry. Alright, that's what that first layer is gonna look like. And this is what's gonna go over that. So I'll have my moon. This is polymer clay I sculpted, and it's gonna go over just like that. Now the plan is with these other layers, let me show y'all. Let me set this aside somewhere so I can let it dry. Alright, so the plan is like in the center here, so imagine that's where the moon's gonna be, right? So I'm gonna tear the paper in like little circular patterns and then layer as we go. So that's the plan. We'll see. Hopefully I can get that to turn out pretty cool. Thank y'all so much for hanging out today. Please give me a subscription, you know, a follow if you like what you see. It's appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Alright, so again, with the wet on wet technique here, I think I might experiment with a little bit of the colors here. First, let me get my little test swatch here. Let's see, some purples. Maybe I can add some purples to the night sky. See how that goes. Alright, so we got that kind of purple. There's a darker one. Maybe, I'm thinking about it. Maybe some blues, some purples. Get a little wild. Maybe some turquoise in there, some aqua kind of color, which is like my absolute favorite. I love that color. Alright, let's just see. See how it goes. Alright, again, just gonna... Well, you know, I have a spray bottle here. I think I might just try to use it. That might be quicker. Alright, so we got the water down. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so I got that down, and now I'm gonna add my color. That was a good thunderous one, wasn't it? Okay, the paper will curl up, but that's okay. When it dries, you can stick it between some books, and it'll flatten out with some time. Alright, and if you don't want all of this dark color, you can just move it around a little bit and not have to worry about it so much. It'll lighten up the more you move it around. Maybe some pink, a little bit of pink over here. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, we want this to feel kind of dreamy, ethereal. Alright, maybe a different blue. Let's see what we got going. Alright. Just gonna go wild with all the colors here, because why not? What are y'all up to this week? I know school's out for the summer, so does anyone have any summer plans? My kiddo's all grown up, so we don't have any summer plans. I always looked forward to summer though, because, you know, I'd get to spend more time with my kid. Alright, I didn't use any turquoise, so I'm gonna put some down here, I think. Maybe a couple of dabs up here. Alright, so this is what we have for the second layer. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so I think we'll keep with that kind of theme going. Alright, and this is what this one looks like, mostly dry. And this will be the bottom layer, so you won't see a lot of this, but you'll see some of it. Alright, just gonna set that aside. Set this one aside so it can dry. And on to the next. Yeah, I think I'm going to do about 5 layers to start and just see how it goes. Oh no, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm actually right-handed, but the video like flips it so it looks like I'm left-handed. Sorry. Hi Jim, how are you? Welcome. Alright. Let's keep on cooking. Hi Samine, how are you? Welcome. I hope I said that right. I am not the best with names, especially trying to remember names. I'm terrible at that. I've gotten into this habit where I just try to repeat people's names, and then that way it helps me, you know, commit it to memory. But I've always been terrible with names. Alright, let's see. Some turquoise up in here. Okay, maybe some pink. what I've got so far. Ooh, it's loud. Alright, kind of try and crunch that down just a little bit so I can paint over here. Yeah, it's already kind of drying out over here, so I'm just trying to move as quickly as I can. Yeah, some people tape their paper down, which is something you can totally do to keep it from curling, but I like to move my paper around as I go, so I don't usually do that. It's all just a matter of preference, whatever you want to do. And if you tape, you'll have, like, you know, these cool kind of like white crisp edges, kind of like if your piece was matted. So that's kind of cool too, to do that. Yeah, let's do some purple over here, maybe a little over here. I mean, just on their own, they're pretty cool looking, right? Get some of that out. Alright, just need to re-wet this bottom half because it's already dried. But yeah, if you get the paper wet and then add the paint, it's really cool to see the paint as it spreads. It's really cool. I always like to see how that, you know, turns out doing that. Just add a little bit more water, kind of blend it in a little bit. I can't get over, someone said they liked my Johnny Bravo hair. That's hilarious. I actually watched Johnny Bravo when I was a teenager. It was such a funny show. And maybe add a little pink. Maybe a little bit more over here. Just kind of go around. And just blend it a little bit in some spots. This is what we have for this one. I think not too bad. I might try and blend this pink over here a little bit more. Rinse my brush and keep going just around. Making a muddy mess now. That's okay. We're having fun. There we go. Alright, that's more to my liking. I think that'll be cool for that later. Alright, I'm running out of places to put these. I just set it over here. Alright, so that's 3 layers so far, 2 to go. I think what I'm going to do for, like, when I go to rip the papers, I might take, like, an X-Acto knife to start, like, in the center cutting, and then I'll just rip with my fingers and make it look more kind of organic, maybe like clouds. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure of the name, but I believe I got these from Hobby Lobby. Yeah, a while back I got these from Hobby Lobby. Another set that you could get if you're interested in getting into watercolor is this set, which I got from Amazon. And I think it was less than $10 for this. Pretty affordable. These may be a little bit more expensive, but I think they may be a little bit higher quality. But they're both good. I like both paints. So the paper I use is called Strathmore watercolor paper. It's 140-pound weight. You can get cold press or you can get hot press. The difference is just in these little ridges here. Like the hot press, I think they're more flat, and the cold press, they're not as flat. Either way, it's just, you know, whatever you prefer. To me, I haven't really noticed much of a difference in, you know, when you're painting. If you don't want ridges, you can always flip the paper over and it's more smooth. So it's really just what you prefer, what you want to do. Yes, I am a watercolor artist. I also do acrylic painting, and I sculpt in polymer clay. And this piece that I'm working on right now is going to be a multimedia piece. So it's going to have my polymer clay moon sculpture that I did, and then the background will be watercolor. But the plan is to have layers. So let me show you. So this is a piece that I had done recently. It's a diorama. But you can see that they're kind of layered. So there's some in the back, more in the front, and in between. So this is a piece that I did. This will not be going in a box. If anything, I'll probably find like a photo frame that's like a shadow box and put it in there. So that way, you know, the layers and everything will have their place. There'll be room for, you know, the face of the moon, that kind of thing. And so that's the plan. It's going to go right here like that. Maybe like turned a little, yeah, like that. And then I'll have the layers, the different layers of the paper. But I'm excited. I think it'll turn out really cool. If you want to check out my shops, I have a link in my description and my profile. I have t-shirts, stickers, prints, original pieces in my Ko-fi shop, and I have a threadless shop as well. So if you want to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for subscribing and for commenting. It means a lot and is really appreciated. Alright, moving on. Yeah, the goal is to be able to support my family with my art. And I had about 5,000 followers on TikTok and had a pretty good community going over there. But then, you know, like they were changing like their terms of service and things like that. And I just didn't really agree with what they were doing. And so I left TikTok. And I've been on YouTube for years, but now my main focus is YouTube. And I've just recently reached, I believe, over 1,200 followers. So thank y'all so much for that. That means a lot, and it helps a lot too. And maybe, you know, one day I can monetize and definitely get closer to supporting my family with my art. That's the hope. Alright, I think last time I didn't use a blue, so I'm going to come in here with some blues. Just mix them around a little bit. I know the paper is curling, but whew, that was loud. We'll get it flattened back out. Once it dries, I will sandwich it between some heavy things and get it flat. And that usually takes maybe a couple of days, a few days for that to happen. Yeah, I was on Facebook and Instagram too, and had like a combined total of 1,500 followers over there. But just, you know, with the way they were restructuring and changing their terms of service and stuff, I just wasn't comfortable being on those platforms anymore. And it may have cost me like community and everything, but you know, I really had to stand by what I believed in. So it was tough, but I felt like, you know, I was doing the right thing. But I am enjoying my time on YouTube more. Lots of nice people here. But yeah, I like, you know, like trying to post positive things, things that'll help, you know, with anxiety, things like that. So, you know, just really upbeat kind of stuff. And, you know, that's kind of what I want to do. I just want to help people maybe feel better with my art. Because I know it helps me. It helps me feel better. Okay. I am really liking this. Alright. So there's this one. Again, these are kind of cool just on their own. I might scan these into my computer and sell them as prints if y'all are interested. That might be something I could do before I start tearing them up and making them into this art piece. Because I just kind of like that abstract and just how pretty the colors blend. I think I might do that. Alright, so we're on the last layer that I'm going to do today. I'm going to set this aside, let it dry, along with the others. Is there a particular like color you'd like to see more of in this one? Let me know. Hey Dogsy, or is it Dogs? Good to see you. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. Green, you want to see some greens? Okay, well, I think I can do that. Let's see what greens I've got here. So I got my little tester sheet here. Let's see what colors. Let's see, I've got like some darker greens that maybe could work. Okay, that's really not coming across. There we go. Maybe something like that. Let's see. Okay, that's... I'm not feeling that one. Maybe that one, that's kind of more of a jewel tone, which is kind of what I'm going with here with all these other colors. It might go better. That one's not too bad. Let's see. And that one. I think maybe that jewel tone I can do. We'll do that one. yellow. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. I'm not sure yellow will really go. I'm doing kind of a night scene. So, yeah. But thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate it. Alright, so just adding this blue that I've been using. A little bit of that, a little bit of this. And I will get some of that green in. Let's see, I think it was this one. Yeah. Alright, so we'll do a little bit of green here and there for that one. So a little bit of green and blue mixed in with that one. I think that actually looks really cool. Sorry, that's really loud. I really appreciate this suggestion. Really cool looking. Alright. Now, I'm going to try to move pretty quickly because this will dry really fast. Some purples. Just mixing some of those in. There we go. A little bit of blending. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Happy Pride Month. My shirt says women's rights, if y'all are wondering about the rainbows and all that. I just really love rainbows. I really do. Imagine that, an artist who loves rainbows. I love color. But happy Pride Month, everyone. I hope that you're having a good month. I know the news has been bananas, and art makes me feel better. So coming in here and hanging out with y'all always helps me to feel better. And I hope it helps you too. Alright, maybe some turquoise. Just a little bit. If anyone wants to explain, please feel free to explain in the comments. Alright, maybe some pinks. Kind of tie in everything with the other layers that I've done. Yeah, I think I just won't touch those. I think I like it. Alright, so there we go. What do y'all think? Not too bad. So we will let all of these layers dry. I think I will probably scan these in to my computer and get them listed to my threadless shop if y'all are interested in, you know, just these individuals as prints or t-shirts or stickers or whatever. I'll have that available. So the next step after that will be putting them all together. So I've got this, and they're all going to be layered. That's the plan. Layered, like different depths of the sky, if that makes any sense. That's what I'm going to do. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Sorry to cut the live a little short, but I'm finished. But thank y'all so much for hanging out. I'll keep y'all up to date on what I'm doing, and have a great month. Have a great day. I'll see y'all soon, everyone. Take care. Please check out the link in my profile. Bye, everyone. Thank you.